Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby. And Dion Davids and Rachekova Ditswe and Che have just addressed the media from Australia ahead of the Springbok team announcement for their first test against Australia, which is this week Sunday, and the team announcement will take place late tomorrow morning. And in terms of the update, a bit of a briefing in terms of players who are available, one big absentee, which is currently touch and go, as well as the welcome return of a number of key players for the Springboks, and talking a little bit about what they can expect from Australia, as well as, what some of the challenges of this weekend will be. Before we talk about exactly what they had to say, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. As always, a very big thank you to Manscaped, who are currently supporting the channel. You can get yourself 20% off as well as free shipping using the code FOREVER at manscaped.com. They've got a whole range of different items. They are the #1 brand for men's below the waist grooming needs, and as I said, you can get yourself 20% off as well as free shipping using the code FOREVER. They have just launched in South Africa, so get yourself something off there. Help support them, and they will support us. So the team announcement is tomorrow, and the big sort of query over the entire sort of Springbok setup at the moment is who's fit, who's available, and what sort of team can we expect for this weekend. And I've been saying that I reckon that the better way to go about it would be to name a fairly strong side this weekend, go out and get the victory, try and get a bonus point victory, and chase a very important sort of 4-point or 5-pointer, and then potentially look at rotating the team next weekend ahead of the back-to-back tests against New Zealand. The biggest problem at the moment is that our record in Australia is actually not particularly good, despite the fact that the Springboks will walk into the game this weekend as overwhelming favourites. Statistically, the Springboks have not fared very well against Australia whilst playing in Australia, and we're going to be playing 2 tests as well. Some other factors within the test also include the fact that they'll be in front of a full stadium, something that the Springboks have not done since the World Cup final 2019, and something that most of these players haven't done since about March or April last year. So it is going to be quite an adjustment that's going to be needed. And obviously, this is a little bit of an advantage for Australia. First of all, they'll have home crowd advantage, so they'll have that anyway. But also, they've been playing in front of crowds for a couple of tests now, and said they will be sort of more used to it. And I think it will be quite a big mental shift. They've had to do so much work at how they can get used to playing without an atmosphere, without any sort of crowds, that now they have to almost work back towards the fact that there will be an atmosphere, that the crowd will be sitting there banging for blood and hoping that they don't have a good day. So it will be quite a mental shift this weekend in terms of trying to sort of adapt to being back to having a crowd. But in terms of the injury update from Dion Davids, so at the moment, almost the entire squad is fit. However, KOLBE is a doubt for the weekend. Apparently, he was on the end of a knock to his leg on Friday, and as a result is currently undergoing scans and working with the medical team. So no call has been made as of yet, but it does sound like it would be quite a big possibility that he will not be involved this weekend. As far as I'm concerned, if it's a 50-50 call, I wouldn't bother playing him. You've got the likes of Apple FS, you've got the likes of Spoon Corsi. It is one position which I think we've got, one of many positions, but I think someone like Spoon Corsi has never ever disappointed when he's been given the chance. So I think given the fact that we have got depth at wing, that we have had some very good performances, I'm hoping that if it's a 50-50 call for KOLBE, that they will hold him back. I'd almost like to see him off the bench maybe next weekend to make sure he's fully fit and make sure that he's ready and fit and firing for the All Blacks, because that will be the sort of defining test. Obviously, we can't stumble this weekend, and Australia could become a bit of a banana skin in terms of being so focused on what will happen against New Zealand. If we sort of fall to one of the Australian games, all of a sudden that means we had to go back to back against New Zealand to try and win the Rugby Championship. So it's a massive ask from the Springboks, regardless of how well they're playing, to go over and play 2 games against Australia away from home, and 2 games against New Zealand. Whilst it is on home on neutral ground, probably definitely does sort of favour the All Blacks probably more than they do the Springboks in terms of conditions, in terms of crowds support. Although you never know, with the amount of expats in South Africa, maybe it will be more sort of there will be a decent amount of support for the South Africans. So, but in terms of other players, the likes of Renard Alstad, Faf de Klerk, Dwayne Vermeulen, the rest of the squad is fully fit. So everybody that has travelled over, bar KOLBE, are apparently fully fit and up for selection for this weekend, which presents quite a big selection headache. The likes of Trevor Nyakane, who was somebody who was supposedly carrying a bit of an injury and stuff like that, that is all sorted out. So, Faf de Klerk will be coming back. I mean, I think Reinhold Alster, I don't think we'll be seeing him this weekend, maybe next weekend. But it does present quite a nice selection headache when we saw the fact that Arche Snyman did not travel and the fact that Thomas du Toit had to return to South Africa due to a family bereavement. The good news is the rest of the squad is fully fit, Barches and KOLBE. And as a result, Jacques Nienaber and his coaching staff have pretty much a full contingent, over 40 players available for this weekend that they can then choose from, which will be interesting to sort of see what they go with in terms of if they want to sort of blood a couple of players or bring some players into the fore, or, because it's a tricky sort of balancing act in terms of you don't want to take Australia lightly. You want to make sure you can go out and get the result. Equally, we need to sort of continue looking at our squad depth, because if we pick up any injuries over the next 2 tests and we're playing our best side, we could suddenly be looking at an All Blacks, 2 All Black tests where we might have to bring in players who haven't got as much experience or might not be as used to the Springbok setup. So the nice thing is that the squad has been together since July, and this is about the 3rd month that they're going in together. So the squad should be pretty well gelled, but it is a bit of a balancing act in terms of you want to play your best side every single week, but you do have 4 back-to-back very big test matches, and you don't want to risk too many injuries or wear players down. So it'll be interesting to sort of see what balance the Springbok coaching staff try and sort of get this weekend. In terms of what to expect, Deon Davis spoke about the fact that we didn't have a very good record against Australia and the fact that they can't underestimate them. He said that with home advantage, they play a very good attacking brand of rugby. So there will be a difficult side to get past. But I think the important thing is that the Springboks just need to stick to their structures, stick to the game plan ahead of, even with all the sort of the talk and the hate and the comments, stick to your strengths. You're away from home, you're up against it. And at the end of the day, the Springboks go over and they go and win 4 tests in Australia, 2 against Australia, 2 against All Blacks. You cannot sit there and say, but it's not good for the game of rugby when you're sitting there with, winning your 4th trophy, in 2 years. So it's a very, very big sort of month ahead for the Springboks. A lot of big calls to be made, a lot of big decisions for the Springbok head coach. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Which players would you like to see tomorrow in the Springbok announcement? When it is announced, we'll of course put a video out as it is announced. So we'll be up to date with exactly what's happening with the Springbok side. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel. My name is Stephen. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll chat to you very soon.